How are you guys doing? I hope you are having a wonderful day, whatever day it is for you when you're watching this video. Today, as you can see, we're starting a little different. We've got black paper. So the black paper that I'm using is Strathmore Black Mixed Media. It is 6 inches by 8 inches. It is a nice heavy duty paper. I love it lots. It's fun. You can use metallics with it primarily is what I do, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be using my metallic emerald Sharpie marker, and I'm going to be showing you my doodles. It's like a little introduction to all the shapes and stuff that I do. Not necessarily the picture part in the center, I'm not going to be going over those, but the actual doodle parts, I'm going to kind of show you guys how I do it. This was requested. I put up a poll on my Instagram stories, and actually 100% of you said that this is something that you're interested in. So if you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications. That way you do not miss any of my uploads Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. All right, so we're going to get started here. So I'm going to start off with shapes and lines. These are my fillers. So I'm starting off with these, but these are, I mean, not necessarily what I end with, because like I said, I've said before, I don't have any kind of linear pattern or idea of how I'm doodling. But these are things like the dots that I do. I typically do 3 dots. I just like, 3, the triangle, it looks good. So then another shape that I'll do is just kind of like this squiggly line. And then with all of these, the way I finish it off, it kind of mixes and matches. Sometimes I'll do a squiggly line with the arrow, and sometimes I'll do a squiggly line with like a swirl, and then finish it off that way or finish it off other ways. So just because I'm showing you a certain way doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way that I do the doodle. It's just kind of the most common way. So another thing that I'll do is, like, from here, I'll go and just do like 3 lines like that. I do a lot of these kind of where I'll do a sharp mark with a line across it, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, depending on how much room I have. This is another favorite of mine. And then I don't do any kind of specific numbers or letters in my doodles. I try not to, except for like maybe something that looks like a Z, like I'll do that kind of shape sometimes. But I do tend to put 4s and 2s. I will do that shape. And I will actually sometimes even put them together like that. And if you know, you know. So another thing I do is kind of my scar, my railroad track scar. And then another way that I do the railroad track scars, I'll come down and I'll just do 2 lines and then the dots at the end. Another continuous, like, kind of recurring is the harsh J, I guess, and then I'll do 2 dots and a line. And the same thing, the harsh J with the 2 lines. And then I don't do a whole lot of repeating patterns, but when I do, they typically look like this. A line with some dots, line, dots. And the amount of dots really depends on how long of a line I make. Usually around 3 to 5 dots, I say, is what my typical is. And then another pattern that I do is this. I don't use these that much, and I definitely don't repeat them this often within the doodle. I just did that so you guys could see the continuous pattern. And then another one I kind of do is like that, kind of like, you know, and then I'll maybe add that if I need the space, you know, do things like that just to fill in the space wherever needed. I got my notes so I can remember everything, because, you know, I don't do these enough that I wouldn't think of it on my own. So those are the shapes and lines. Like I said, that's kind of like the filler. Definitely don't hit these primarily, but they're good filler. That's why I call them filler. So my starters, I start every doodle with this guy. I don't know why. I just started doing it and I really like it. It's my starter. And then I will come over and do this. Sometimes I close it in like that. It just depends. I don't really know any reason why I do or do not. It just kind of matters how far my wrist goes. And then I'm not going to do this here because it'll run into the starter, but typically within the doodle I will do this next one on top of it. But this is the actual doodler. This is my little icon for myself. Yep. So those are my starters. I start every doodle in that manner. So then my circular doodles. And if you've been watching my channel, you've heard me mention before that the circular versus like my square or triangular shapes, I feel like just kind of depends on what mood I'm in. So like I've noticed if I'm in like a more happier or even more energetic mood, I stick more to the circular. But if I'm kind of like not really feeling it, or just maybe even, I've noticed the more I've been doodling within a day, I will tend to fall more into the squares and triangles. But the circles are actually my favorite. So I do a lot of these like spiral circles, and then I'll usually cap them off with the lines, and I'll add dots too if I have the space. The lines don't necessarily have to be on this, like that part. Like sometimes I'll do them up here and then do this dots down here. I don't usually, I'll put the dots out here sometimes, but I don't put the lines on the tail. Oh, just throwing my pens. And then I also, you know, of course have all my little faces. So I'm just doing that nice rounded shape because of the space that I have on this paper, but the shape that the faces are definitely depends on what kind of space I'm working in. Because, you know, if it's something more like this, you know, they'll definitely be a little bit more, you know, less of a circle like that. But I go in between these dash eyes and the dot eyes. I like the dotted eyes because it makes it look more like a little blob. And then for the top, I commonly do my little alien ears. But I also do where I just do like a single antenna. And a lot of times when I do the single antenna, I'll put something off to the side like this. Or I'll do like little whiskers like that. And then every once in a while I'll combine the two. So, oh, I like to do this little hair. I'll do like a poop, like ah! And those are fun. And then another way I do the circles is like kind of off to the side. So I would do something like this. Kind of have him peeping out with some hair. And then I will also do, and I showed you this up here where I kind of do a squiggle, but I will often do it where the squiggle is not the main part, whereas up here the squiggle was like the main part of the doodle. So I'll do it like this. Or sometimes I'll come down and do a face like that. And then another way, and then I actually do this face in a combination. So I'll do kind of like a shape like that. And then I'll do a circle like that. So it kind of looks like a very abstract person in a way. So that's another circle that I do. And then squares, I don't do a lot of squares on their own. I feel like the squares kind of turn into filler space more times than not. But I'll do, again, the maze little mark. And then this is probably like my favorite square. I'll do a line. A little birthday cake. And I actually do that shape in a circular motion too. Forgot, so I'll do like that. So there's two versions of that. And then I will sometimes do like a square like that, and then I'll do lines in that way, or do a square lines like that, or add some dots in there, depending on what's kind of size and how much filler I need for the inside of the square. And then I also have a little character guy where I'll do that, or sometimes I'll do dots, whatever I need to fill in the space. And then the last one is triangles. And again, I have the spiral triangle. And this is another pattern that I like to do. And this is actually another one of my favorites. On my business cards, I actually use that for my doodler. So I come across like this, come down, come down. So that's kind of like my full body doodler. That's just the head of the doodler, and then that's the full body doodler. So I like that little mark. And then also I'll do kind of like that southwestern, like, or military kind of markings. And then I'll come down and do that. I actually do this kind of shape quite often. This is like that little pattern right there. I do quite a bit. And then I also like to do kind of the mountain, or like the Basquiat crown. And then I do a lot of these where I'll do a triangle, and then I'll use the lines to fill them in, where I'll do a triangle and do like dots, things like that, just kind of building, So yeah, so that's all of my shapes generally. Like I said, there are some that I'm sure I do without thinking. I just kind of went through a big handful of my doodles and kind of just found the ones that were the most repetitive. So again, I start with these three always. I will do primarily the circle, square, and triangle shapes with the shapes and lines in between. So kind of block this out. I'll show you. I'm gonna use a different color too. So I'm getting tired of the green, the emerald. Let's see here. I'm going to switch over to metallic in ruby. Kind of a Christmas. So this is our fresh paper. Like, imagine there's a little doodle, I'll just put a little heart right there. Maybe a little heart. So I would come over and start like this. And then I would look and I'm like, well, there's a little space, so I'll just put a single dot there. And then as you can see, that is definitely, needs to be a triangle shape. And let's fill that in. And then I would probably come around here and then do something, because I've been doing, a lot of triangles, so I would do something more circular. And then that's kind of a weird space, so that's how I would decide where to put the little lines. And then the dots would go over there. And then I would probably want to extend the doodles upward, so this is where I would do like something like this. And then I have only done one face, so it's definitely time for another face. And then since I did the Doodler, which is slashes, I would do dots. And then I think I'm just gonna do the hair like that. So then I would come back over here and then just do kind of a squiggle to bring that part up. And then let's just get another face in there. And then a triangle with a dot. Let's do that pattern because that fits well. So you're just filling in the space. So we've come in here because this is like my abnormal space. So would want to fill this in, come down. Let's just do a line. I guess I do the European 7 too. I lied when I said I only do a 4 and a 2. I do the European 7s as well. And then would kind of just squiggle, and then a dot, and a dot. And then with this final triangular spot, I think I'm just gonna do my little spiral. So see, that was, would be a finished doodle. That's kind of my thought process and how I fill everything in. And hope you can take this. It's not really meant to be a tutorial so much, because these doodles, not since are mine and like I don't want anyone else to use them, but I mean, this is what my brain comes up with. And obviously you would have your own looks and feels, but this will help you out if you do want to start doodling, give you an idea of kind of, oh no, we've lost. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take that as being the cue for me to end this video. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, like I said, subscribe, comment, ring the bell. I hope that I was able to teach you something. Thank you for coming along this journey with me, and I will see you next time. Later.